Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
The debate over the amendment which would ban gay marriage in the state took center stage over at the law school today. We'll have a live report.
And more Marvin Austin, he just won't go away. He's back in the news as the university responds to the NCAA investigation into our football program.
In sports, we try to figure out why Kenan Stadium looks empty on Saturdays.
And new GPS devices for bicycles. See how the university is trying to put the brakes on bike theft. Good evening, I'm Kathleen Whitty.
Hi everyone, I'm Preston Jones. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
The voters won't go to the polls until next May, but the constitutional amendment which would ban gay marriage was up for debate today on UNC's campus. In fact, it took center stage at the law school. Our own reporter Caitlin Covington covered the events and is live on campus with the report. Caitlin?
Hey, Kathleen. Well, it's still 8 months away, but in May, voters will be able to vote on a new amendment to the Constitution. This amendment would ban gay marriage in North Carolina, and the debates have already started. Today at the UNC School of Law, Republican House Majority Leader Paul Stam started. You'll see his clip coming up in a second, followed by Democrat Minority Whip Rick Glazer.
We've had the policy of no same-sex marriage for 340 years. This doesn't change that policy. It just makes it more difficult for a judge or a subsequent legislature to change.
We want to enshrine this to make sure that future generations and future legislators don't get to change it. Essentially means we trust people. We only trust them right now. We don't trust them to guide their own future. We don't trust them to change as society changes. We don't trust them, in fact, at all.
Well, the vote isn't until May, but if you want your say, make sure to go out to the polls. Thanks.
Understood. That's Caitlin Covington live. Thanks, Caitlin. The University of North Carolina's Center on Law and Government hosted today's debate.
Well, we've been telling you a lot about the university's response to those NCAA allegations of student-athletes cheating and receiving improper benefits. That response has been released, hundreds and hundreds of pages. Sierra Watkins is live with us now. Sierra, how did we get all of these pages sorted through?
Well, Preston, our colleagues at the Reese Felts Digital Newsroom here at the Journalism School have been plowing through all of those pages. They found some pretty interesting information. Alex Barinka is with us live from the Reese Felts Newsroom. Alex, can you give us a little idea of what you found in those documents?
So the university released about 1,094 pages responding to the NCAA allegations, including football players receiving extra benefits from sports agents and the academic violations that may have occurred. Some of the really interesting things we found were some of the Twitter photos that tipped off the investigation from Marvin Austin's Twitter account, including photos of Marvin Austin and Miami Dolphins cornerback Vontae Davis, Marvin Austin and Greg Little in Miami poolside at a party, and a $143 Cheesecake Factory receipt. Also included was the 2011-2012 tutor handbook that will be issued for this next year, including a section called Assisting a Paper Do's and Don'ts, including asking tutors to never type on a student's computer or accept any papers via email. Also included in the release was a letter to former tutor Jennifer Wiley, who you may remember was providing impermissible academic assistance and monetary assistance to student athletes, and they asked her to have absolutely no contact with current or future student athletes.
So Alex, can you just give me a brief idea of what you were most surprised by in the documents?
What we were most surprised by was the monetary assistance given to some of these athletes, including 2 round-trip flights totaling more than $2,300 were paid for Marvin Austin to fly to LA to spend time with an NFL player who was also a former Tar Heel football player. They were paid for by one of Austin's former high school coaches, who was then reimbursed by agent Gary Wichard.
Okay, so now that the documents are released, where does the university go from here? Alex, can you hear us?
So the university will have to impose the self-imposed sanctions that they released in the document, including vacating all victories from the 2008-2009 seasons. surrendering 3 football scholarships a year for 3 years, and paying a $50,000 fine, as well as putting itself on 2 years of probation. UNC representatives, including current head coach Everett Withers, will be traveling up to Indianapolis on October 28th for an NCAA meeting on infractions.
That's Alex Barinka, live in the Reese Feltz newsroom. Thanks, Alex.
All right, Sierra, well, once again, we're reminded of the power of social media with all those pictures and Twitter notices. So,
it's definitely shocking.
Yeah, thanks for that, Sierra.
Well, during the last decade, student debt has ballooned by more than 500%. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York reports that's with a growth rate of $100 billion per year. The total amount of outstanding student debt is expected to hit $1 trillion by the end of this year. Reporter Cassie Scarsha looks at how UNC's graduates are faring against these national numbers.
Sophomore Hillary Japp loves spending her afternoons in the pit, living what she calls the Carolina dream. But Japp also knows that dream comes at quite a cost.
It's going to be about 18 times 4 because we're paying for literally all of the necessities with student loans.
Japp isn't alone. The UNC Office of Scholarships and Student Aid reports 31% of Carolina students graduate with debt. And like many of those students, Japp worries about paying it back.
It's intimidating knowing that I'm going to have to face these thousands of dollars when I graduate from college.
Japp has good reason to worry. Published reports indicate that from 2006 to 2010, the rate of college graduates claiming bankruptcy went up by 20%. But as a Carolina student, there is also good news for Japp. Director of Financial Aid Shirley Ort says Carolina students do one thing very well.
You pay back your loans.
And the numbers back that up. The national average of students defaulting on loans is 8.8%, but for UNC graduates, it's only 0.5%. Students also earn less debt while attending UNC. The average debt at some of UNC's peer universities is $21,000, but at UNC, it's $16,000. Ort does say these numbers could change with increasing budget cuts.
It's very likely that students will have to borrow more, and that a larger share of our students would need to borrow.
You grow up, you go to a good college, you find a job, and then you're good. It doesn't work that way when you try to factor in student loans and debt.
For now, Japp says all she can do is get the most out of her investment. In Chapel Hill, I'm Cassie Scarsha, Carolina Week.
University officials say they do everything they can to provide grants rather than loans for those need-based students.
Well, as the leaves begin to change colors around campus, you might see a color change with the campus bank. Wachovia banks nationwide have been changing to Wells Fargo all year, and next month it'll be North Carolina's turn. Signs of the change are already in place at some branches, and students can expect to see more red around campus once the change is final. The UNC One Card office says students won't experience any drastic changes. Students can continue to use their Wachovia cards, and the same banking locations should remain open. A UNC professor now has a lot more cash after receiving what many call the Genius Grant. Dr. Kevin Guskowitz is receiving the $500,000 MacArthur Grant to help fund his research. Guskowitz is a professor of exercise and sports science, and he also studies sports-related concussions. He was one of the first researchers to find a strong link between multiple concussions and long-term effects on the brain, including dementia. He says he plans to use some of the money to develop better rehab plans for athletes and soldiers that have suffered concussions.
Well, the town's signature Carolina blue buses aren't going to be light blue for much longer. The Chapel Hill Town Council voted this June to allow advertisements on the sides of buses. The vote was unanimous to set aside $150,000 for the project. Members say it's a small price to pay for the big impact the ads could have. The council hopes advertisement revenue will help with the town's $2.3 million budget deficit. The town owns 98 transit buses. Chapel Hill Transit Director Steve Spade says the town could receive as much as $200,000 each year once the system is up and running. Spade says the project will include up to 15 large ads covering the entire bus.
Well, what's the most stolen item on campus? This one might surprise you. It's not cell phones, nor wallets, or even your laptop. It's bikes. 22 stolen last month alone, and the Department of Public Safety has created a new program to put the brakes on theft. Senior Jamie Isitz always locks her bike. After having 3 of them stolen, she's no stranger to theft, especially after the last time.
And someone actually came one night and took a hacksaw and they cut off the bench. They cut off the handle of the bench and took my bike. I was astounded.
Stories like hers have prompted DPS to create the new Catch a Thief bike system. It places an unrecognizable GPS on a bait bike on campus. Now, for safety reasons, we're not going to show you the actual device, but it could be on any one of the bikes out here. And police say when that bike moves, they'll know about it. Police receive a text message and email if the bike moves. Then they can track the bike's location every 5 seconds. But Isitz questions the system.
Having 1 or 2 bikes locked around campus as like bait, I don't think that that's going to really do any damage to the problem.
Still, DPS spokesman Randy Young says the new program is proven effective.
We learned about this through NC State, and over the 2 months that they put this into use last winter, they saw a 92% reduction in bicycle thefts.
By registering your bike through DPS, you can get a U-Lock like this one for half price, something Isitz has already done. And if it works on campus, the system could expand to bigger platforms.
And laptop computers or backpacks or any other bait items that are of high value to those looking to perpetrate crime here on campus.
Now, officials say it will cost only $500 a year to maintain that system.
And if you've noticed that the roads are safer for bikers around Chapel Hill, you aren't alone. The League of American Bicyclists named Chapel Hill one of this year's bronze bicycle-friendly businesses. The town received recognition for encouraging people to bike to and from work. It was also recognized for making roads more biker-friendly with new signs and lanes to help bikers and drivers share the road. The League of American Bicyclists presented 111 awards this year. Well, they're making more than music at this Chapel Hill institution.
They make the... Well, it looks like to me they make the best BLT in town. We'll have that story next.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit americansforthearts.org.
Un mañana saludable comienza con una base sólida en casa. Y hay maneras simples de iniciar a tus hijos en el camino del éxito. Compartan la cena juntos. Agrega verduras a cada comida. Guarda las golosinas para ocasiones especiales y asegúrense de salir a jugar 1 hora al día. Ayuda a que tus niños hagan todos sus sueños realidad. Te invitamos a disfrutar de una vida sana hoy en letsmove.gov.
Logging out of a campus computer means losing everything that you've stored until now. The School of Information and Library Science is spearheading a new program called Lifetime Library that will allow students to store important files for life. Incoming information and library science students will get 250 gigabytes of trusted storage to use however they want for as long as they want. For a little reference, 250 gigs is about 10,000 Word documents or almost 16,000 photo files. Storage does not end after graduation and can even serve as a networking tool and link to alumni.
Well, CHISPA, the Carolina Hispanic Association, kicked off Hispanic Heritage Month with a little salsa. Salsa beginners and pros showed off their moves in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Events are designed to celebrate Hispanic tradition, culture, and contributions to the United States. During the month, there will be various service, local, social, and cultural activities like this salsa session. There will also be events throughout September and all the way until October 15th.
The impact of social media sites like Facebook and Twitter is so far-reaching, even the police department is logging on. Chapel Hill PD is creating Facebook and Twitter accounts that they intend to use to communicate with town citizens about what is going on with the department and the safety of the town. It makes sense. Worldwide, there are more than 500 million active users and 250 million users who have Facebook on their phones. Pair that with the potential for fast and direct communication with all who decide to follow the pages, and officials think the public can be much more informed even during times when they aren't near TV or radio.
Well, it's one of the first things tourists hear about when they come to Chapel Hill, and it's a store that's still standing strong after the town's many changes. But what do we really know about Merritt's Store and Grill? Reporter Patrick Wright takes us into one of Chapel Hill's oldest landmarks for a lesson in good food and good people.
Merritt's. This name may mean little to some, but to others, it represents a cornerstone.
You know, really, Merritt's is the unofficial welcome center of Chapel Hill.
And in a town of constant change, residents say it's nice to have a place like Merritt's to always come back to.
This is the first time I've stopped in it, probably for 50 or 60 years. It is obviously a very, very popular place and delightful place.
And what makes this such a delightful place?
Really, the people who work here, the people who come in.
She really focuses on the opportunity to love the community and stuff like that.
The store has seen many different faces.
We have farmers, we have Dean Smith, we have the men who go up that build the city.
Britt says Merritt's is catered toward what the people really want. That's kindness, good prices, and of course, great food. Their best dish, the world-famous BLT.
But how does a sandwich become the world's best BLT?
That's a pretty big claim, isn't it? Someone said it and then it just caught like wildfire.
One thing that can't be questioned is Merritt's dedication to great service. And Britt says no matter what, the store will continue to play a major role in this community.
A place of change, and yet a place where some things, the good things, the right things remain.
No one really knows what Chapel Hill will look like in 50 years, but you can count on one thing. Merritt's isn't going anywhere. In Chapel Hill, I'm Patrick Wright, Carolina Week.
And if you're looking for good music to go along with one of those tasty sandwiches, check out Merritt's Banjos and BLTs every Saturday from noon until 2. The Carolina Performing Arts is diversifying its fundraising to keep the price of those student tickets low. The CPA still offers a lineup of premier performances for all audiences. It's a professional venue showcasing world-class performances, but students can enter Memorial Hall's doors for only $10 to see shows like the Nutcracker. You could go see the same show for $50 more at the Durham Performing Arts Center. Carolina Performing Arts has turned to grants, donors, and interest programs to deal with budget cuts. Those involved say a commitment to enriching education for students at UNC fuels these consistent ticket prices and an always diverse schedule of performances.
Executive producer of the Emmy-winning reality series Survivor and UNC alum David Burris visits the campus to talk to students about his experiences working on the show. Burris talked with UNC students about his job of developing and producing a show with real characters and exotic locations. He also showed some clips to demonstrate character development. Students then had the chance to ask Burris questions about his job and future projects. While at UNC, Burris studied political science, which he says prepared him for his job because he learned how to organize his ideas and write a thesis. Speaking of Survivor, how are we going to survive a chance of rain every day this week?
I don't know, but we'll let you know how long you'll need that umbrella coming up after the break.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve y 10. 10 deditos con ganas de bailar. El gordo es Pedrito y le dicen el pulgar.
Un momento cotidiano puede convertirse en un momento de enseñanza, porque el aprendizaje comienza mucho antes que la escuela. Dele a su hijo el comienzo necesario en bornlearning.org.
All right, guys, we gotta be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're gonna run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna run around circles, flatten my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too.
We fuel up
To play 60!
Your school doesn't have a program? Be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
All right, welcome back to Carolina Week, everybody. I'm Drew Day. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to go ahead and talk about your weather headlines in just a few minutes. It was a very cloudy day outside today, and that trend will continue here over the next several days. We'll see some scattered showers across the area, and we'll also see the heavy cloud cover with mostly cloudy skies for the next several days. Here is a look now at the tropics. You can see that this is a close-up view of what is now Tropical Storm Ophelia. You can see the center of circulation right here in the area, and you can see most of the convective cloud tops right now are on the eastern side of the storm. And so because we don't see these brighter white cloud tops across the entire center, which is right here, that's letting us know that it's not really a strong and well-developed system. And so we really don't anticipate that it's going to be strengthening too much here over the next several days. But here is a look at the forecast track. Here is Ophelia way out in the Atlantic right now, and it will continue to push off to the west and start curving more to the northwest here over the next several days. Now, this time period right here at this dot is on Monday at 5 p.m. And so be sure to tune in next week right here on Carolina Week for the latest on where Tropical Storm Ophelia will be at that time and where it will continue to progress from here. So we're going to continue to watch this here for the next several days because it'll certainly be moving uncomfortably close to the U.S. As we take a look now at the satellite across the area today, you can see that it remained mostly cloudy for much of the day. And as I said earlier, these clouds are going to be definitely sticking with us. There were a few showers along the North Carolina-Virginia border, but they were very light in nature. Taking a look more at the wide view right now, here is a low pressure system in the northern part of the country, and this cold front right here on the back side of this cloud cover right here. And that cold front will be continuing to push to the east for the next several days, and that will be affecting our weather. As we take a look at it here on the surface map, there's that low pressure system and the attendant cold front. As we take a look at tomorrow, you can see that we'll continue to have the chance of some scattered showers across the area. And as we take a look at Friday, much of the same, continued showers and that cold front just on our doorstep in the western part of the mountains. So as we take a look at your forecast for this evening, then it'll be 70 degrees, just a very warm evening with mostly cloudy skies. Then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy, scattered showers once again across the area, a high in the upper 70s. As we break tomorrow down just a little bit further so you know what to expect throughout the day, by 8 a.m., 70 degrees, 77 by noon, and 74 at 8 p.m. here. So you can see that will remain cloudy throughout the entire day. So as we take a look at your 5-day forecast now, you can see that we're going to remain in the upper 70s to low 80s for the next 5 days. But Kathleen and Preston, cloudy skies and rain, so you're definitely going to need that umbrella and jacket with you.
It looks like it. Boy, we just can't get out of this rain, can we? Well, I look forward to a little sunshine. Yeah. Maybe you'll have some good news for us next week.
Yeah, hopefully into the weekend we'll start to see some sun once again.
We sure hope so. Thanks so much, Drew.
All right, you're welcome.
Well, why are all these seats empty?
We'll have the answers next in sports.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Welcome home, man.
Take my hand and start a brand new day. And together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people. Connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Sierra Watkins. If you've been to Kenan Stadium this season, it's not hard to notice a lot of empty seats. Andy Reeves explores why the Tar Heels can't fill the stadium.
Starting safety Matt Merletti has become a fan favorite over the past 2 seasons, and that may be because he understands how important the crowd can be.
The crowd response it's a big deal for us on defense because anytime that the offense can't communicate, that's a really big advantage to our part. So, I mean, I'm always trying to get the crowd involved.
But through the first 3 games of the 2011 season, empty seats have been a common sight at Kenan Stadium, and the players have taken notice.
I've been used to sellouts almost every single game. We definitely see it, and it doesn't make us very happy, obviously.
The attendance figures have been well short of the stadium's 63,000 seat capacity, topping out in the season opener against FCS James Madison. Part of the apparent decline can be attributed to the 3,000 new seats added to Kenan Stadium as part of the Blue Zone. But that doesn't explain why other parts of the stadium haven't been full. The Heels' schedule also plays a role.
I think you'll see a much better crowd from the Miami game because Miami's a conference opponent, and there's a lot of history there, and I think that sometimes the opponent helps dictate what kind of crowd we're going to get.
Some fans are still unhappy with the firing of Butch Davis, but Gwaltney doesn't think that has had any effect on attendance.
No, I personally do not. I think we did not witness any kind of a downturn in ticket sales once that decision was made.
Whatever the reason for the empty seats, Merletti has the cure.
I mean, I think that us winning will resolve that. And the more we win, the more people are going to want to come watch us play.
With 3 wins in the first 3 games, the Heels are certainly on the right track. In Chapel Hill, I'm Andy Reeves, Carolina Week.
And Carolina will have a few more weeks to figure out the home game attendance as the football team has its first 2 away games of the season. Coming up this week, the football team will try to figure out a way to stop Georgia Tech's triple option offense, which right now leads the country in rushing yards, averaging 427 per game. The Heels have struggled in the past with the Yellow Jacket offense, which also leads the country in scoring so far this year. If you remember last year, Georgia Tech took their first 2 drives in for long touchdowns. Carolina's focus this week has to be on playing basic assignment defense, since that triple option allows for multiple choices for who will run the ball. They must also rely on the offense to sustain long scoring drives and keep the Yellow Jacket offense off the field. And some other news, WRAL is reporting that Eric Hyman, a former Tar Heel and the athletics director at South Carolina, is currently the top candidate to replace Dick Bedore as athletics director. We'll keep you posted as more information comes available.
Seems like a lot of changes coming with all the new athletic stuff.
That's right, Preston.
Thanks, Sierra.
What in the world is this person up to?
I don't know, but it looks like fun. Sign me up. We'll tell you in just a minute.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
Well, most people Zumba for exercise, but now you can Zumba for charity. If you like to move your feet, you can join UNC's A Drink for Tomorrow for this year's Zumbathon. A Drink for Tomorrow raises money to provide clean, safe drinking water all around the world. Proceeds will go to a clean water project. Tickets are $15 and can be purchased at the Campus Rec main office. Students will be dancing from 5 to 8 p.m. in Rams Head Recreation Center on Thursday. Well, you know, Kathleen, that looks like a lot of fun, a way to exercise and do something good.
I think I'll have to try it out, though. I'm not sure I can keep up.
Yeah, so we'll see. All right. Well, that does it for tonight's edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.